Hey YouTube! Yeah, so I've just been rebuilding this strap for somebody. This is a neck off. It's a Squire, but the body for this neck was one of the thin body ones, and this body, which might not actually be a Squire, is so I've now attached it. And it's so much easier to do your own guitar than it is to do somebody else's, because this neck didn't have any holes drilled in it, or it had been filled in, so I had to re-drill the holes for the neck. And on my own guitars, yeah, 20 minutes. Never, don't care, it's not mine. Somebody else's, oh, measure it, measure it, measure it, get it right, worry about it. Yeah, so hence probably why it's more expensive to get people to do your stuff. That's why when it comes down to like building the bucky casters and stuff like that, I've got to build them myself and then sell them using my own stuff. So if something does go wrong, it just makes it so much easier to build. But anyway, yeah, so wee bits of it just doing something like that. The holes didn't line up, so the previous owner had filled them, so I had to re-drill the holes to take the neck plate. Little things, quite a few bits missing. Had to hunt about trying to find neck bolts and scratch plate screws and a metal plate and all these things. I had to cut the scratch plate to make it fit. You know, it's like the whole guitars don't necessarily fit together like Lego. It's not. I think they probably do if you're buying Warmoth parts, or if you went to Warmoth or All Parts and bought a kit, a really expensive one, those bits probably do pretty much fit together. But if you're making a parts caster, that's why parts casters are such funny things, because this is now a parts caster, but this is a parts caster built by somebody who knew what they were doing. Very different from a parts caster. I've bought several parts casters that just basically they were really cheap because they played rubbish. They were just off. They were just terrible because somebody had spent a lot of money on bits. And I'm looking at it going like that. That's got £200 worth of Seymour Duncans in it, and it's got like a go tall bridge and blah 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 blah. Why is it only 150 quid? And it's like because it plays like dung. Other things, there's principles you have to obey. You must obey principles, things like putting the neck on in the right place, having it in a straight line, putting the bridge in the right place, get neck angle, all these things to actually make these things work, and have a little bit of understanding wiring. So yeah, a very stratty strat, this one. So you can tell it's kind of that this is an upgraded. This is a bought-in pre-wired scratch plate. So it's got like the orange drop cap, which makes no difference at all. But they don't put them into like your cheap Squires when you get them as standard, because an orange drop cap costs like 20 pence instead of 4 pence. So if you're making a million guitars, it saves a lot of money. Whereas if you're buying them yourself, you might as well put them in. Whether it makes any difference, no, it doesn't make any difference. Obviously, it's like your tone wood thing. Your ears aren't good enough. I can hear a difference. Yeah, you can hear a difference because you can see what it is. The same reason that one of the reasons you can sort of tell the difference between different guitars is looking at it and going, up here, that's an American Fender, is it? Oh, that's much better than the. But you saw it first, so it's like the placebo thing. I'm in there as well. I'm a wee bit more along the lines of it's like the Japanese one. I know what to expect. If you hand me a guitar, it's a Japanese one, I go, and I expect it to be really good, and it might not be though. But I'm still trying to be objective. The reason I'm going for the Japanese ones is they just seem to have they've got a better consistency, and they're basically are just better. Not all of them, and I can when you get someone that's like, I've had them a few times, it's like, it's a Japanese guitar, and it's like you play it and you go, is it? I was like, yes, here, I looked it up on the internet, and you're like, it's not though, is it? It's like you can sort of tell just by manufacturing process and stuff like that. I'm getting better. I can kind of sort of tell Samick guitars now as well. They've got it's one of those things. It's like, I'm not going to sit there and go like pure. Oh, it's just like I was doing that the Phoenix Young Chang. the other day, and it's like they use, I don't know if it's a very specific type of varnish or the way they do it. You can just, there's wee things, just like a feel, but obviously there's lots of things in that, you know, just widths and frets and types of wood and shape and all these things kind of in there. Anyway, so this one has a switch in it. So I'm getting a little bit of what all of you lot must get when you when I give you a guitar that I've wired, because I've wired it, I know exactly what it does and understand it completely. This one is new to me. Even came with a handy switch, a handy thingy. So this, so I didn't actually. I was going to look at the switch. It's just a 6-pole switch, so it's an on switch. And it's up here. Oh, I've not done this switch, and it's like there's a reason why, and it's like I wouldn't do this switch, not in this exact order. Depends what you're doing. It's like so you've just got when the switch is in the middle, as in off, it's just a standard. The reason I know it's a on switch is because there's series in there, so you can't do that with an on switch unless you're a cascading mega bucker, because I'm special, can do these things. Not on a 3-way switch, so only on a 2-way switch. So you pull the switch up, you get basically. No, he's done more. He's messed it about a little bit. So the Gilmore switch is, with the switch on, gives you these two. He's not hot wired. This has come from a book. You can kind of tell. And then position 2 is all 3 pickups on, which is not the way I do a Gilmore switch. And then the middle pickup is neck and middle, and then position 4 is neck and middle, and then neck. So just a slightly different order, or is it the same? Why is the neck on in the bridge position? Neck on. Yeah. Okay. So the Gilmore switch is basically that's exactly the Gilmore switch is exactly the same as what I would do. So pretty simple. Best switch. Middle position is just a normal Strat, and the down position you get bridge serial. So in the middle you get the bridge and the middle together. That's fine. I can do that. And then middle parallel neck all in series with bridge series neck. That's what's different, right? So we've talked before about the fact that, you know, to get a humbucker you have to have 2 opposite wound pickups, which I shall demonstrate by using this pickup, which I actually used to hold a Stanley blade to the side of my stereo. I'll use it. So this pickup, I think this is a middle pickup, should stick to the middle pickup, right? But it doesn't stick to these two. It repels these two, right? So in order to get humbucker or hum cancelling, either way, so if you put them in series, you put this and this in series and you get a humbucker, yeah? Or you can put this and this in series and get a humbucker, or if you put them in parallel, you get hum cancelling. Hence why on modern guitars in position 2, because these two are in parallel, it's hum cancelling. You'll notice that if you've sometimes if you get a lot of noise and you're playing a Strat and it's just like just that buzz thing, just because it's a bad, you know, not particularly clean electricity or something like that. Try using positions 2 and 4 because they are hum cancelling. Even though they might not be the sound you want, it might be better than having all the buzz. So this is the sound that this one's got, which I don't put in, is bridge and these two in series. These two are the same, so you're not getting a humbucker. I'll see what it sounds like, basically, whether it's worthwhile doing. I've done that before, I never found it worth it. Basically what you're doing if you're putting the two of them in parallel is putting in a wide range single coil, like a fat, powerful single coil, which will have lots of buzz in it, but we'll see what happens. So what does it say? Position up's the Gilmore, so that should be that one and that one. Okay, different. So there's your Gilmore switch. There's the outside 2 pickups. Also, using the word serial, really? Is it not in C? I would just put bridge neck, bridge middle series, not bridge serial, but that could be correct terminology. And that's all 3 on. We all know that, right? So if you go bridge down the way, you've got bridge twice. So in position run on free. Yes, that's my cascading mega bucker does that. So bridge, bridge, and then you get the humbucker. Okay, it is fatter. Maybe that is it. If people want that, I could put that in. It's not difficult. I just never bothered putting that in. I always figured it was more there'd be no point in having the bridge in series with the neck. I could see how he's done it. So see what he's done. I'm talking about it's just like when you see somebody talking about they're someone else. Have I done it? When you see someone trying to break through a booby trap or break a security system, you kind of talk about the person you're trying to beat. Not trying to beat. There's no competition here. Yeah, so he's got the. Completely forgotten what I was saying there. I put. Do I? I suppose technically I do that as well, yeah. So it's like but I'm saying it's like and my switches when I've got you can get these two CDs plus this one in parallel. Technically, is right. It is actually these two in parallel together, and then in series with this one, rather than being these two in series and then this one in parallel. It's not these two are parallel wide together and then both together put in series with this. That's probably quite confusing. So I suppose he's got one extra sound, which is this one. Non-hum cancelling. Hum cancelling. Yeah, so I suppose it gives you a fat. It's kind of maybe I would be tempted to maybe call that P90 sounds just because it's like a more powerful Strat pickup. Actually, that's quite a good sound. That's not the one. That's not the neck and series. That's just off the two with one on it. Yeah, no. So interesting to see this. I don't know who did this. He's obviously making scratch plates. I need to look up and see how much he charges for these things. I can do a more fancier one than that. I'll put that back in the case so the owner knows what it's got it written down. I'm not good. I'm not so good at the diagrams. You just I need to end up getting lost. I suppose the point is, I was actually talking to Luther in America last night. He was talking about, have you seen the new Seymour Duncan Hyper Switch? It's like you can control it with your phone. So basically what the Hyper Switch does is it shows you pictures. So if it gives you a guitar that's got 3 hot reel humbuckers in it. So basically on the diagram, the picture of your guitar, you can choose whether you want the north coil, the south coil, both coils, or whether you want them in series or parallel, and they change colour so you can see what it is like on the app. And then the same for all 3 pickups. So you can it's kind of like an interface, and then you sort of hit send, and then it can save it onto whatever. So you can have the 5 positions on your pickup selector, do whatever you want. It's a digital switch, which is sort of I can see as a selling point. I can't imagine it's anything you would ever use. It'd be interesting, the idea of having all the different sounds. I mean, there's not any sounds on it that I've not done before. But then you get to choose your own sounds, whereas I choose the sounds for you when I wire a guitar. I choose the ones that sound the most different and the best. You'll find that an awful lot of times, like I used to do a lot of guitars that had, 6 switches in it. They were dead confusing to use. And a lot of those sounds aren't, in my mind, different enough to warrant having them, if you know what I mean. It's like, yeah, is that different? If you actually could just switch between the two, it's like, some of the sounds you get are not different at all. You know, if you're using like the north coil and the south coil of this one, and then you use the north coil and the south coil of this, the south and the north coil the other way around, that is two different sounds, but they're not noticeably different. Maybe if you'd like a graph or something. These sort of things gets down to the point of trying to keep things a little bit more simpler. I kind of like this. I do like the fact that it's got the up and down switch, the three-way switch. I don't know whether he did it intentionally. I like using the three-way switch so you always know when it's off because it's in the middle. In the middle's off. Easy. Whereas if you've just got an up and a down, you've got to remember whether up or down is off. So if down when I do these switches, you know, the coil choice and the cascading mega bucker and all that stuff, it works that way. No, it's turned out to be quite a good guitar. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that it's like, really when you're selling it, I would put on, you know, partscaster built by me, because I don't have a lot of a reputation, but I've got a reputation. You know, it wasn't put together by somebody who didn't really know what we're doing. You know, somebody who wires a guitar by going, oh, the green wire. I think the green wire always goes to earth, and it's like, you know, or like the old, I'll just keep moving the wires about until it works. Doesn't really work that way. That's why I did that. If you haven't seen it, the guitar wiring 101 to 106 videos that I've been putting out all during the week. I'm going to stick them in a playlist, and I'll probably do a wee intro video for it, and then maybe even stitch them all together or something like that, make it a bit more. I was kind of sneaking them out a little bit because it's the sort of thing you kind of almost don't want some people to know. I think when you watch the first couple, it's like, oh, this is easy, I could do this, and then the last one, I kind of ended up just talking too much and going over what everything was, and then forgetting that, well, if you work your way up, the last one should make sense. You know, talking about, you know, phasing and coil splits and series and parallel and all that stuff. It's pretty simple. Basically, my idea with that was you'd basically just think about it as, right, pick up, just a magnet wire wrapped around it going to an output jack. That's basically all it is. It's just three of them, apart from they go through a switch first and there's tone controls added, all these things, but the actual basic principle is just the same. So maybe have a wee jam. I'm doing this actually in the morning. Is it still the morning? It's still the morning. Just because this chap's coming to pick up the guitar. So it's like, we've got to do a video for it. Now then. I always do that one. It's a D minor. Middle. Two. One. Reg. Gilmore. All three on. down we've had it as the humbucker, so humbucker. And then these two in parallel, this in series. Then neck and bridge together in series. Rat pedal. Humbucker. Back to strat sound. Yeah. there we go. Yeah, so works pretty good, to be honest. I think probably an element of taking a square Strat. This one doesn't have a... Oh, it does have a serial number on the front. S. That means Samick. 101. 2010. Yeah, so great stuff. A little bit again, and the thing about basically stripping it down, building it. I almost said building it properly. Squire do build guitars properly. Building it by hand, building it better, being a bit more accurate. Putting the neck on, it has made a difference. Now, yeah, so this one has got the decent tuners. These pickups, I'm not sure what they are. Came in a box pre-wired, so I'm trying to even remember. I think they're like they're the magnetic slug ones. I think. I mean, so which makes them like Al Nico or whatever. So if you look at like a ceramic pickup's got like a fridge magnet stuck to the back of it, which I have no problem with. So some of my best guitars have those kind of pickups in it. No, they make that much difference. But it's like, oh, got to have the Nico 5 or the Nico 3. Oh, got to have that. It's like, maybe. I thought that, or you just use a different amp, or you adjust the gain on your amp or something. But we can argue about tone things all the way. I think these all these tone discussions about tone wood and what kind of magnets are in your pickups, and whether a maple fingerboard sounds different from a rosewood one. Right, what makes a much bigger difference is the scale length makes a big difference, whether it's Gibson scale or Fender scale. That makes a bigger difference than any of those things. But more to the point, if you're talking about a guitar that's set up and playing really, really well, then, like, really, really well, maybe on an AB, if you're really, really comfortable with both guitars, you can tell. But, I mean, I get it, it's like, I've been playing the same rosewood neck Stratocaster for 10 years, the only guitar I've got. And then I bought a new one, it's got a maple neck and it sounds different. Therefore, the maple neck makes it sound different. No, maybe not. Maybe more, it's a different guitar. So there's 100 variables in every guitar that are, and okay, the type of wood it's made of and the type of magnets that are in their pickups does make a difference. But I mean, the height of the pickup from the strings makes a big difference. To the point of, yes, okay, you've got a pickup here, it's an Nico 5, and it sounds the way you like it. And you get a pickup that's an Nico 3, oh, it's a bit loud. If you lower the pickup, you can probably make it sound like the other one. These kind of things. And they've all got perfect strings on them. And perfect frets. Perfect intonation. Anyway, Andrew, your guitar's done, and it's a good one. Unfortunately, I'm not sure you'll get as much money as you should for it, because I don't know. Name drop me and give him this video. It might give him something good, but this is a good Squire Strat. Basically, if somebody turned up with this to me and said, "Oh, I want you to check over this guitar," I would be like, well, I would have to check it over, but there would be nothing I would change or adjust, really. I'd maybe buy a trem bar for it. Maybe you've got one. I didn't find one in the box of bits you've got, so I've just got it set hardtail. But there's nothing. Change the scratch plate if you like a different colour, kind of thing, or that. But I do like having the extra switch sounds in it. It's quite good having the humbucker mode, which I always feel that my first guitar was a Strat, and I wanted to play Black Sabbath through a wee 10-watt amp, and a Strat doesn't really do the crunchiness, whereas that would give you a more fatter sound. That's why I put it in. Not as good as the cascading Megabucker switch. But I'd be interested to see if this guy's actually. I need to find out who it is that did it. I'm obviously not going to badmouth him on YouTube or anything like that. That'd be silly. I'm not going to badmouth him anyway. I just want to see how much he'd do it for. I wonder if he's worked it out himself or whether he's just got it from a diagram. I probably worked it out himself. That's why I own a lot of the switches I do. I've never done that one. That might be on a diagram online. All my switches are, well, most of them are. I just make them up. So it might not necessarily be the same as the way everyone else does it. with advantages and disadvantages to that. I'm just that bridge and neck and series thing, something I've never actually tried to do, because I never figured, it was never a sound I was after. I kind of tend to start out with going, right, I've got a Strat, what would I like it to do? And then I think, well, having these two in a humbucker would be a great thing. So I work out how to do that, not I've got a switch that does that. I kind of going for the sounds that I find most interesting, because most of these sounds, I've had guitars, as I said this at the start, with like 6 switches on it that can do all of these things, and some of them are like pure. I'm not a big one for phase either, really. It's got a thing, it's a different sound. It sounds a bit different, I suppose, but I generally don't tend to put it in because I've got a few guitars kicking about. Like my Ibanez Blazer came stock with a phase switch, and the switch is a bit intermittent, doesn't actually work. I've never bothered changing it because probably I never ever use phase on a Strat. The only place I can really think of using phase would be on if you had like a Les Paul or an SG, like a 2 humbucker guitar, and there's no coil splits involved. The phase is kind of in, does that kind of thing, just gives it, makes it sound a bit better, clean, a bit more stratty, and a bit more bell-like and springy, and less muddy when you're playing clean, the phase on 2 humbuckers. But most of the time I would just put coil splits in anyway because they're better than phase. Depends what you're after. If you're into funk and you like that really playing down the end of a telephone line, and it does give you a sort of, yeah. Rock on! Catch you later!